Are we gonna do music today? Hello, hello. We
Hi,
are
I don't
live.
know.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Should we? I can put something up here.
Yeah,
I
let's do
have
it.
jazz.
Jazz. Good. Friday wind down. Has to
Let
be
it
with
be.
music.
Yeah, let it be the relaxing wind down jazz and what else? What else do you want here?
Mm. Yeah, I love the idea
And
of wine. It's Friday night at London, so just
yes, exactly. I
all
was
right.
just about to say that we are so happy to have Tanya joining us today from London, where it's even more wind down than wind down here in the Eastern time zone. So welcome, Tanya, to Friday Live.
Thank you so much for the.
Welcome.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, and thank you for finding the time. It's really late over there, and this is the impressive that we could get you on the call, right? At
Thank you
this
so much.
time.
Yes,
Yeah.
And
I
talking
think,
about such an important topic, right?
of course. And also, I think it will be my first sober night in London. So thank you so much for this experience.
Ah, nice.
amazing. Well, I would love, Tanya, maybe to just ask you a couple of words about your experience so folks know who's joining us today. I have to confess that I talked to Tanya probably a few weeks ago, and we started talking about AI, and I was just blown away in her depth of vision, and I'm very excited to have her join us. So,
Thank you so much, Vlada. Yeah, let me introduce myself. So I'm Tanya. I'm a serial entrepreneur, already serial, and I'm like 10 years AI specialist. So I was working on AI when it wasn't mainstream at all, and a lot of people just didn't know what it is and didn't predict the future of the technology. So yes, I'm originally an AI developer, and I also was an AI team lead of a big AI group in Yandex. Maybe somebody know this company is rather big. So of some parts of Yandex, we created call centers, optimization. So my first startup was about optimizing the call centers and support services for big enterprise companies. I think now we're like number one in Russia in this field. And yes, my second startup, we're working for American market. It's EVI, and we created romantic partners, romantic AI partners. So if you're some lonely guy from, for example, USA, you can join our app and have amazing chats and build a relationship with girl, but artificial girl. Yes, and now I'm consulting the companies about AI and also developing my new startup. So yeah, uh, and I really love AI. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this like for 10 years, and I think we live in amazing time.
I have a question. What does
Yeah.
it mean to be an AI developer?
It's very different. It was very different 10 years ago and now. So now it has a lot of different solutions. So you shouldn't, if you're a researcher, for example, OpenAI or in DeepMind, maybe you need to build some low code solutions, but honestly, no. Yes. And so I think what it was 10 years ago, it was like very low code solutions. So you should develop all the things from the scratch, really. So backpropagation, I was writing with my hands, so it was rather difficult. Now I think it's more about learning very fast about new technologies and just use GitHub very good and adapt it very fast. And I think it's also about data engineering a lot, because data is gold. Yes, and it's very important how collect the data and how stick models with current data. Yeah, so
So
it's just
AI developer, is it like about coding or is more about like configuring what you have and putting this together?
yeah, it's really depends. It really depends on what you really develop. But I think it's good data scientist and ML developer should have both. So yes, you should adapt a current solution to your task, and also it's much easier if you're good data engineer by yourself, because if okay, there is a different type of team. There is teams when data engineers work separately, but there is such a thing as communication, and it's much easier if one person can do all the things to communicate effectively, at least.
So it's an AI developer is sort of a jack of all trades.
Yeah, especially now because technology changes so fast, and to be honest, I think developers it's number one risk jobs for optimization by AI. So closer you to this, more risks you have. So
Like you mean risks to be expelled, like to lose your job because AI is taking your job, right? Well, AI took the job of the OpenAI CEO, you know, so that's the first job, the first job that AI took.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I think if you are smart, you will adapt in all circumstances. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not like I have the job and the skills, and the skills will be, will be actual like next year. So my skills, they will not mine. I'm already in management, but if you're a developer, your skills, current skills, will not be, very up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you have a good brain to learn all this for this moment, I think, but you should constantly learn. So it's never stop.
Yeah. So technically, this I just launched the course that is called Power Skills for Tech, and one of the modules that I included in the course is on coachability, and I think
Yeah.
this is like one of the most important skills for people who work in tech. Being coachable. Being coachable doesn't mean like to have a coach necessarily. It means just being learnable, right? To being learnable. I don't know if you can say that. To learn, yeah. Like well, learnability. They use this word. This is a newly created word. Yeah. So technically, if you have this skill, if you can learn, if you're like up for learning, that's the power skill that will definitely help you stay ahead of the curve and help you, whether you are an AI developer like you just said, or like in management or any other skill. So yeah, coachability, guys, focus on coachability.
And also,
Sorry, Rhonda, I was dominating this conversation.
No.
I really
I
wanted
was
to
enjoying.
take time because like AI developer is like a new like thing, relatively new, because until like all this Chat GPT OpenAI thing, I feel like we were like referring to ML developers, right? So that was just like something that was like very deep and not like out there. People were not talking about this, but like now it's AI developer, and I feel like the word AI is a little bit overused these days. And just like to be clear, right, like, is this the real job? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah. But the other thing I recently realized on my trip to Madrid is that we all live in a bubble. And so to me, when people say, oh, I don't use ChatGPT on a daily basis, I was like, how is it possible? How do you live?
You're like, you're not my friend. No, bye.
Right. Or like for Tanya, perhaps, AI was real 5 years ago, 10 years ago, right? Because she was working it. And so perhaps for you, it might have felt like it's everywhere. And whomever doesn't know about it just lives in a different universe. And so when I was walking the streets of Madrid, I saw this nice store selling flip phones, right?
I've
Flip
never
phone.
had a flip phone. I want it always.
I know. You should have told me. I would have bought you one.
Yes, please, next time.
But I literally stopped and stared at that window, because you can't even find these flip phones in the US these days, I don't think, right? And so perhaps, I reflected just thinking, we live in a bubble, because you don't even have to go to a developing country. You are in Madrid, in a European capital, in the middle of the city, and you see flip phones, right? And so anyway, just knowing how all the trends that we're going to be talking about today and how they're shaping the world of business, we are certainly talking, I think, a lot about developed US, sort of the frontier of the change. And I think it's important to recognize that there are opportunities everywhere, and different economies are at different stages of that adoption.
Well, speaking of trends, by the way, there is a a trend on using analog things, right? Like flip phones, and this is like I don't know, Gen Z or maybe Gen Alpha. I don't know whose trend that is, but that's also trend. So this is this example that is really relevant to our discussion. I'm ready to delve into it. Let's talk about trends.
Oh yeah, that's amazing
So
thing.
what's trending, Tanya?
What's trending?
What's going to be trending in 2024?
Yeah, no, of course, AI. I think.
So if I want to start business, if I want to start a business, it should be AI business.
I think okay, it's depends of your goal. I think so. AI is not a silver bullet. So if you run, for example, some API to GPT, yeah, as Sam Altman already said at the presentation, that they will release or already released GPT store. Yeah, so make just some API to GPT with different prompts not working for today, really, yeah. And I think that's products should solve some pain. And if AI helps a lot, it's good. But I think maybe nowadays too many products that just use world AI, and they will die next year too. So I think we will see a lot of startups. That's a lot of startup that's created, for example, this year will close. But also, yeah, I think still there is a huge opportunity. And I think next year will be about generative AI in videos and computer vision, because yeah, already if you see there is a technology for generating video from the text. It was like with a picture, the same technology like something like 2 years ago, and I think it will be a revolution in different fields. So for example, in marketing, how content creates, for example, TikTok developing now their platforms with video avatars of influencers. So if TikTok will do it, and I think they're a great company and they will, for example, it will change how companies interact with influencers. So TikTok can provide just this tool that if you're influencer, you can have your video avatar and with generative AI, and you just sell the rights for your avatar, and that's all. So you not participate in the process anymore.
Well,
And
it's
really
easier said than done, to be honest. Being in content creation, I can say that these like use cases where you don't have to participate, they are rare, and there is a lot of work on the back end too. But like,
yeah,
yeah, if you don't
yeah,
want
but
to be like, if you don't want to like, be the face of the things, yeah. But like, then you have to have like really great technical skills.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say, yes, of course, ChatGPT cannot write from scratch a good pitch still, yes, and I think it should be some creative work, but it will be creative work from the company side, maybe not from influencer side, yeah. So, and it will be easier and faster, and also, of course, it's automatization of a lot of jobs, and I think the jobs that's there is zero sum zero sum skills, zero sum games, yes. And for example, programmers, so if I write quite good, so my colleague will not write code worse. And I think all these jobs, like they're very have a huge risk to be optimized. For example, coders, analytics. So I think a lot of jobs in online spaces. So more data you have online, easier is to optimize for some system. And also, if you have fast reward to your job, for example, if you're CEO, you have long-term goals, you have long reward. You don't know do you right thing or wrong. You will know it only after 2 months, and it's good. If you're a developer, your work was good or bad. Like in 2 minutes, you can run the test. So the faster it is, the easier to optimize, and I think it will be about it definitely. And also, of course, maybe it's not so visible, but the way how we, work with some classic industries, like maybe real estate, like prediction of markets, like maybe stocks. So yeah.
I actually like was thinking about all this like automation and stuff. It sounds great. Sounds amazing. But like can you just imagine the skills gap? Like the number of people who actually can do it and the number of people who like should be doing this. Like there's so, like Vlada, you said, right? Like you talk to someone and if they say that, oh, I don't use ChatGPT on the daily, you understand there's the gap between you and this person. Technically there's a skills gap here, right? So just think about all these companies with like a lot of workforce, and the workforce is not trained. So this transition, automation, AI, and like automation transition is not going to be fast, unfortunately.
I think in some fields yes, in some fields no. So I think it depends of amount of integration that you should done. Because, for example, when we work on support of simulation system, it will very easy to optimize data scientist job, no problem. But for example, it was funny story. So we came to really huge, really big enterprise company. Yes, and we talk about AI, signing the contracts, blah, blah, blah. And then we say, okay, what's your CRM? What's your customer relation system? So what you use? And they say, we don't have CRM, we have mail. We use emails. We say, very interesting. So we cannot integrate AI with you because you don't have tool for integration, at least. And a lot of companies, they use Excel for a lot of things, and they use Excel 1, 2, 3 CRM, and it's hard to get all. But also with GPT, you can more easy write APIs to these things. So I think there is a most. It's the most challenging thing here. Yeah.
And if we talk about the companies or types of services that are the biggest risk, you think, Tanya? Like, I think one of the things you mentioned, which I think is very smart and true, right? There's been a number of examples in the past where Facebook or Google or whomever, right? They see which products or services actually generate traction, start making money, and then they cut them off and launch their own. So what is your view on areas that are perhaps of biggest risk, and likewise areas of the biggest opportunity where you think that the big guys will not go?
I think now I don't know what strategy of OpenAI will be. So now it's growing. It's growing very fast and really, very amazing way. But I think they want to show this growth. Yes, in 2 and 3 years, in 4 years, this growth, and maybe they will see what's exactly what's products in their store most successful, and just get them. So I think that's maybe there is some psychologists area, some maybe health areas, because, for example, Google developed their own neural network. They're not released for production now, but some teams can use this network for testing, for example. Yeah, and a lot of huge markets, so like social networking, like Facebook things. For example, interactions with friends, and really a lot of topics, all consultations. And I think this topic that's big companies will not go through is is some gray area zones, of course. So all type of adult content, no, of course. I think maybe some niche things that's not have a lot of money, or maybe some niche that's, for example, if we want to create a supporting for transgenders, it's about community, it's about brand, and maybe OpenAI don't want to build this brand because it's a minority, yeah. And so if some product needs very specific brand, yes, for specific niche, I think this area is rather safe. If we're talking about some mass products for a huge amount of people with a lot of money, yes. But still, there is, there is, for example, health tech market, different type of assistance, and there is Amazon, and they created their own brands. Yeah, looking at most successful brands with the highest marginality, but still in these areas too, there are some products, there are some brands. For maybe there will be premium brands For example, like I don't know, like Wheelie, like there is Uber and there is Wheelie, yeah. So there is still a lot of opportunities, and I think it's not like red flag, but yeah, it will impact on the market a lot. That's big guys will go to a lot of
Yeah.
and of course and I think like for TikTok, so the platform for bloggers and content creators and video editors, I think like this field will take TikToks and yeah, the Instagram. So there will be a very competitive field in terms of the CPA going higher. Yeah, and it's hard to you know yeah, it's harder now than it was like 5 years ago. So this field, I think maybe you shouldn't do products in this area, but there is still a lot of areas.
Yeah. And I'm actually curious. So one of the things that I find intriguing, and I was for a while as we were talking, I was sharing the list of top 10 trends that I found, and certainly there are perhaps other ones. But another trend which is interesting is really around creators, and we started talking about creators economy and $1 billion and growing faster, right? Obviously, creating personal brand courses online. And this is actually an area where Anna has been working for many years, and I am really curious about this. So, Anna, what is your take on sort of this creator economy, and where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question because well, you probably you know this already, and like Tanya just said, I can only second this, that with AI tools definitely can help. Well, they are already helping creators, right? So it's never been easier to create a video, right? Because it's just like even Google Photos is great and like videos for you, like with music and everything and all the transitions is like really cool. Yeah, so I think that will be from like my take on it, that this big brands that we have now, like Instagram and TikTok, they will just add these features internally. So like we might not even have to use external apps, like what, like for example now we use captions, right? For like certain things that's going to be all included. But actually Instagram has already released because like Instagram works really I mean, I have several accounts and I have different updates on this account. So one of my accounts is like super advanced with all the advanced updates. And they already added AI feature where there's an AI sticker. You can create an AI sticker where you can remove the background of your picture. So you don't even have to go to a separate app now. You just pick the picture that you want and it removes the background and it creates a logo, for example, for you, right? So let's say you want to add a logo to a video that I actually use a native Instagram native app when I edit my videos, mostly. Yeah, mostly. And this is super convenient. So Instagram is adding these features inside so that people can spend more time on the app, obviously, and they can do all the like edits and everything. So I think this is what's going to happen. And what we said originally earlier today, the virtual avatars, you know, like not avatars, virtual creators, yeah, are going to be popular. I would like to have an Anna twin, digital twin, that is like never tired, never sleeps, and like generating content all the time, and looks pretty all the time, no makeup needed, So that's interesting. I would like to try that, to be honest, and do that. Yeah. So I'm actually excited about all this. I mean, obviously, I believe that the first application of AI, like the immediate application of AI for us, is content. Yeah, all kinds of content, and this is like what's happening right now. But like, I'm actually curious what's like more in-depth applications. Like, if you guys, ladies, if you were to start a business in 2024, that is. I don't know, what would it be? Like AI driven, not AI driven, like what would it be? What would you do?
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay,
love
so
that. Yeah, I love the idea of something that's vertical, that's very industry specific. I think, back to what Tanya was talking about, is that's really the holy grail. And the less sexy the industry, the better, because that's obviously the space that is not obvious for many folks, but at the same time, there are so many areas where there are a lot of mundane repeat tasks. So I was just looking at someone launching, for example, the note taking specific to therapists and other clinicians and things like that. And obviously that area is very regulated, so I'm really curious about all the approvals and other things. But that's just like one obviously health tech is huge, and that's
So
like
you would go for health tech, Vlada?
would I go? Maybe. I mean, there's
you have to decide now what business you started in 2024 and be very specific.
Yeah, I think the business of offline is gonna be really alive and well as a counter. I think it's interesting to think about counter trends.
So you're opening a store, an offline store.
Right, yeah, a Pilates
Mortar.
studio as
A
well.
Pilates studio, yeah. But you know what I keep seeing on social media, they say like this like top 7 businesses you have to think to invest in, and there is like one of the items that is said a boomer's business. So they say that boomers getting old, right? So they're going to be getting rid of their businesses like car washes or whatever, like you said, Pilates. I don't think a boomer is running a Pilates studio, but like things like that.
Pickleball.
Yeah, it's exactly. And so this is a non-financial advice to Gen Zs where they can invest their money. So look at boomers businesses. So that's what you got, Vlada, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. I think AI attracts me and scares me at the same time. Obviously, I love it as a user, and I can't wait to get my hands on more tools and get more proficient with the tools I use. It just brings me a ton of joy. And obviously, a lot of things that I'm doing now around creating content, I just know I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for AI.
You're the content queen. You are the AI content queen.
And I think for folks like myself who don't have a skill or habit of that makes the barriers for entry much lower, obviously, to enter. But then the question is, if you really go into AI as a business, that's really a tricky question, because the speed of change is so massive. And how do you really stay ahead, or again go into these very niche areas which are a bit more protected?
Consistency, like you said, if you practice every day, you get consistent, even if you don't like go super deep into this, but at least like you have the skill and it's like with you, right? But like then I feel like FOMO is there if you don't do this like consistently. You develop a FOMO is huge. No one wants it, right? And another thing is just like you feel it's like too much, because I talked to some ESL teachers, right? And they're like, oh, Anna, I'm like, I did the webinar for ESL teachers on AI for English teachers, and they were some people were like, we're scared because it's going so fast, and we're not sure we can keep up with this, and especially someone who like kind of considers their age and learning abilities like connected. I don't believe that, right? Like, whatever, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still learn anything you want. But like, yeah, so people are freaking out because of that. So that's something interesting. I don't know, Tanya, what business are you starting in 2024? What's your niche? What's your niche and what's your idea? Let's share with our viewers. I feel like people want to pick our brain here.
Yeah, I think, I totally agree with what Vlada also said. That's and also I think it's depends on your goal. For example, if your goal is money, short-term money, maybe good ideas. It's like,
if it's business, ladies, it's always money. Yes.
Yeah. So how much?
If there's no
How
money,
much?
no business,
How much
it's a
money?
hobby.
So what's your ambitions? For example, if your ambitions, let me say 100K a year, from the business, but this year yes, this be 100%, I think, boomer business. If your ambitions like, I don't know, 500,000, maybe it should be, now it's a recession and there are great gray zones for AI also. So it's gaming. If you don't have any moral principles, it's gambling. For example, if you have another moral principles, there is a lot of entertainment, yes, who always grows with recession, and big corporation will not go to this field, and maybe there is a good opportunity if you want some business with great potential in the future, but still with some revenue and maybe a positive EBITDA this year. I think with AI, maybe it's some niches like, I think what I'm actually thinking of is different document these boring taxes and also this kind of stuff, because it's a huge problem. For example, it's just one example. And
But are they ready? Are they ready to adapt to this change? All these documents. I feel like there's so much red tape that. I mean, definitely AI would automate a lot of things, but I feel like people in the industry, there is like I said, there is digital skill gap, and like people not realizing how important it is to bridge it.
I'm
Well,
not
I
agree
totally
that-
agree with you. I'm just like,
Okay. I'm maybe not agree that there is huge skill gap. Let me say this: I'm not using ChatGPT every day, so I'm more like talking with my assistant who use ChatGPT. So
oh,
for
so
me it's
you're
easier.
dealing with ChatGPT?
No, sometimes yes, but
Next level.
sometimes
Vlada,
yes.
we're doing something wrong.
Yeah, sometimes yes, of course, but I'm let me say this. For example, I think these different courses, so how write prompts good. When Windows and when Google search was released, there was books like this and courses how to write questions to the Google, and it was huge for business people
Really?
doing
I
money.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and there is still the same thing with ChatGPT. So there is how to write prompts.
So is
prompt
it a bad
engineering.
thing or is it a good thing?
It's not a bad and good thing. I think it's just how to write questions to Google,
Well, you know what?
decades ago.
It's like an obvious thing to us, but like it's not. It might be an obvious thing to some people, but it's not so obvious to other people. Again, being a content creator, guys, like every time I'm on stories, I'm like, you won't believe it. Like people react to like completely unexpected things. Like I share something like something that is not even interesting. Like I wouldn't think it's interesting, and it triggers people. People react to like really amazing, unbelievable, and like unexpected things. That's why I feel like how to write prompts is a necessary thing, because people like the other time we had the stream on AI, and Vlada shared her brilliant game changer recommendation on how to make ChatGPT work better for you by naming it a persona, right? Giving it a role. And even today, I talked to one of our viewers, and by the way, Vlada, he said to say thank you to you. He was like, that was a game changer. That was an amazing tip. And he started using it, and it works so much better. And to Vlada, this was probably something very common.
Yeah, I mean, there is clearly, on a very basic level. And as Tanya said, there are people who are making some quick bucks from these guides and info products, right, related to ChatGPT.
Been there, done that.
I mean, listen, when wave rises, like you can kind of ride the wave, and I think a lot of people are trying to ride the wave. I remember with Web3, for example, right? It was everything was Web3 for a while, especially here in Miami. Even if it didn't make any sense as to where that Web3 was applied, but the market grows, and you're trying to attach yourself to a bigger market. That's how I ended up in tech actually years ago. I was thinking where to go from management consulting, and I was like, oh, let me see which areas are growing. Yeah, which areas are growing? Oh, tech is growing.
But this is so close to Jeff Bezos' story. because that's how he founded Amazon, because he looked at the trends and he was like, okay, internet is growing. Like, I don't remember what was the growth rate back then. He's like, okay, I'm going online. I'm going to be working online. So you're very close to Jeff Bezos.
I know, I
Bravo.
know, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I
And
think
now he's moving to our right
Yeah,
next.
he's actually launching an office in Miami. Wow, guys, we're going to be Amazon is taking over Miami. I'm excited. More techies.
um, yeah, I think generative AI is important and users is important, but the way we interact now and writing prompts, it will be so different 2 years from now. Maybe it's not making a lot of sense to learning hacks for ChatGPT because, for example, now if people want to understand how to use Excel, they go to ChatGPT and asks. 2 years from now, this all will be part of Excel. So it will be a very native integration, and maybe content creation also. All this generative tool will be in the interfaces, and it will be designed very smart to yes, to use it, to make people to use this very simple. So my personal opinion, so if it's okay, if you see some short-term opportunity for you to use ChatGPT is good, but I can't say this is some fundamental thing, because how it looks, it will change a lot in 2 years. It's like
Definitely, but like where people have to start from like something, so
Yeah, but this is the fundamental question, like what is going to be the center of gravity, right? Because I think now I feel like my habits are changing where I'm starting from ChatGPT actually. Like I
you're addicted, Vlada.
I
You
am, yeah.
developed a new addiction.
Right, but it's like it's very hard to change habits of people, right? And I think that's really the key question
Takes
is
time.
what are those what are going to be these habits, and are they going to change, right? Because to Tanya's point, if existing behavior is to use Excel as it is in the actual document, but maybe a new behavior would be talking to the document through a chat, and you will not be actually using of course there are going to be some more advanced things that you will still do there, but for let's say 80% of tasks you would actually go and engage through a chat and see it, right? So I think it's a big question as to what's going to be really the center of gravity and how people's habits going to change or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's yes, it's very interesting, and yes, I agree that a lot of tasks maybe will go from Excel to chat. Yes, I think it will go to chat. It will be optimized very soon. So because it's easier. So the more easy is action. For example, now for company you need a lot of analytics to build this Excels, and after some times you will not need it. And also, I think so how the online businesses work will change a lot, because, for example, 5 years from now you can run some app, yes, and just buy some performance traffic and be unit economy positive really easy. And now without networks effects it's almost impossible. And I think the more and more some things like network effect, like virality, like all this stuff, the rules of how to develop products stop working now, and they will not work in the future. So you should be like very creative and out of rules maybe.
Yeah. And I think so if we just go through the lightning round of summarizing things, I think what's like the big takeaway for me personally, from a business perspective for next year, is really idea of developing your own footprint, developing your own brand. I think it's going to be really critical. It is critical already today, but I think it's increasingly going to be very critical, because you'll need to know who to trust. And in the world where everyone is digital, everyone is saying the same.
Everyone is a robot.
Everyone is a robot, right? So I think figuring out sort of what is your unique voice and expertise, and that's going to be, and footprint digitally is
being
going to
a being a human being a human is trending, right? It's going to be
yeah,
trending in
yeah,
2024 and on.
It's
Yeah.
amazing thought. Yeah.
So develop your human skills before
yes,
you even before you develop your AI skills, right?
right, right. And
Yeah.
sign up for Anna's Power Skills course,
Oh my
right?
God, thank you. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, it
Guys,
was
this
so
trip has
much
been
fun.
exciting. Has been exciting, very smart. I'm so proud of us smart ladies sharing on such important, very technical topics.
Thank you, ladies. Have a great weekend. Thank you all.
Thanks, ladies.
Yeah.
Bye and wind down.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
ladies. It was so interesting.